It's Clare Desira here, and today I want to talk about the times we find ourselves at the stress crossroads. I'm going to take you back a couple of years to a time that was make or break for my business. Picture this. It was the night before the biggest opportunity that I've had in my business. I was going to be front and center and keynoting in front of 80 employers of choice. They're award-winning business owners, really valued looking after their employees, and they were the best in their industry. I was going to be front and center. Not only that, but the state government was going to be endorsing my work and the work of my business as officially being an organisation that could build supportive, productive and mentally healthy workplaces, especially during change. And not only that, but a CEO who's one of my clients was going to stand up in front of those 80 leaders and tell them about how our work really supported them through a tricky merge. An opportunity like this for a business like mine is the stuff that dreams are made of. So here we are on the night before. I just arrived at the hotel, 5 minutes to change from my jeans and runners I've been traveling in before the state director of the program, bit of a big deal for me, was going to pick me up. We were going to go for dinner and talk about the next day. So I was about to get changed, and then I realized I'd left my suit bag on the plane. I had nothing professional to wear that night or for the breakfast tomorrow, except the jeans and runners that I'd been traveling in. I really felt like I'd made a massive mistake. My stress levels were at a big crossroads, and when faced with stress, where it could go either way at a crossroads like this, over the years, our vices have included things like chocolate, booze, more recently Netflix, and also the old classic, critical self-talk. And my vice of choice is the old classic, critical self-talk. Now, at this point, a younger me would have started spilling out a tirade of statements like, I'm so hopeless and stupid. How could I have done this on such an important night? No one is going to take my work or me seriously. No one's going to take me seriously from a tiny mistake. And those self-critical thoughts would have hijacked my night and turned me into a cocktail that was overly stiff with a twist of apologetic hot mess, as I tried to prove that I could be taken seriously, even though I'd made what felt like a massive mistake at the time. Left unchecked, these thoughts can spiral to become far bigger than any small issue. Our brains love to dive into all of the old stories then and look for all of these other examples of times when I felt hopeless and like I'd made a mistake. And then of course, how I'm behaving isn't actually even about a tiny thing. It becomes about this big case that I've built in my head about how stupid and hopeless I am. Nothing to do with the genes. And it actually then becomes about something that it's not. And me being hopeless becomes the only truth that's available for me at the time. But that's not the only way. Research shows that critical self-talk can be a go-to for many women when we're under stress. But back in my hotel room, because I now know what I know and I've got the tools to flip these stress crossroad situations on their head, I know how to flip that mindset script on their head and to recognize it for being a mistake and that I'm human. I was able to make the most of the opportunity. And so when the big state director arrived to pick me up for dinner, it was going to be a fancy dinner, I just explained what had happened and laughed about it. And they laughed about it too. And to my surprise said, let's head out to the airport and see what we can do. Maybe we'll be able to find it. And so this mistake that I made actually turned into this adventure that we were in together. And instead of me feeling like I was making stiff small talk while I was quietly shaming myself for being hopeless, we had a great conversation about travel adventures and how things go wrong, and how even when things go wrong, sometimes they end up being part of the adventure or being part of the lesson that you need to learn. And so this car trip was full of stories about lost passports in Turkey and tsunami alarms in Thailand being mistaken for lizard calls, and all sorts of things. Missed planes in Peru. It was human and it was real, and it actually became an adventure. The isolation time that we've all been going through has been priceless in reminding us the value of being human, the value of being okay with making mistakes and choosing the way we really want to go when we hit those stress crossroads. Which way can this go if we own mistakes and keep moving forward, and we watch the pattern that our thoughts are in and that they don't go in this wild thought loop, and we can catch them and keep moving forward rather than building up a big case against ourselves for making tiny mistakes. During this isolation time, kids have been Zooming through the back of Zoom calls, and parts of our life we've traditionally tried to keep separate are all over each other in a heap. I hope that after all the heartache and heaviness that the world has been going through, that we remember the value of being human over perfect. It wins every time. It allows us to connect in new ways. It allows us to be kinder to ourselves, and it can make a world of difference. The truth is that folks in any team are going to take it in turns of making mistakes, and we all face the stress crossroads sometimes. Our thoughts about how we approach these situations and when we're in these situations make a significant difference to our cultures, how we connect and relate with each other, and also how we treat ourselves. If your team is in the habit of making small things into big things, then let's have a chat about how our mindset hacks and resilience programs can lift focus, performance, and all-round humanness in your team. We've been running a load of online mindset and resilience programs during this time for some of Australia's well-known and well-respected businesses and community organisations. We've got a few spots opening up over the next month, and so if you'd like to talk about what these programs mean to your team, then follow the links below and book some time in my diary for a chat. We've got a few openings and one of them could be yours. If you're listening to this for yourself, not for a team, then I really encourage you to keep an eye out for those stress crossroads and to give yourself a break. Remember that you're human, everybody makes mistakes, and remember that sometimes good things come out of those tiny mistakes. And if we keep piling on ourselves and making them into big things and collecting all this other data about other times we make mistakes, and it's so hard for us to move forward, we can spiral down. And for now, I'd really love you to remember, above all else, to remember that being human wins every time over being perfect. Thank you for listening. I'll see you soon. Oh, and one more thing. Michael from Qantas, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry about the security scare. I just saw my suit bag hanging behind you at the counter and I couldn't help but bust into a crazy fast run towards you to get it. Sorry about that. See you soon.